Good morning, everyone. We're going to get started. Today we have Nick Jacobs, the Business Development Manager from Thermacell, giving us a talk. In the meantime, if you have any questions, there's a little chat bubble on the bottom of your screen. You click that button and you can ask Nick whatever questions you want. Nick, go ahead.
Hey, everybody. How are we doing today? I just wanted to thank you guys for taking some time and to go over this with me. I know we at Thermacell are very excited for our partnership with Arett. We had a really great experience from the show back in September, and just really excited to hit the ground running. So wanted to start this by kind of going over a few things, who we are here at Thermacell, give you guys kind of a little overview of the company, and also just kind of how we do what we do. Why now is such an exciting time for us at Thermacell, and then go over some of the products that you guys are carrying, which are some of our most leading edge, innovating, and best-selling products, and then a little bit of what we think it means to having your dealers be successful with the product looks like. So as Pam alluded to, definitely feel free to chat at any time. And ask questions. You don't need to wait to the end or anything like that. I think it'll just kind of promote a little bit more of a free-flowing conversation that way. So we'll kind of jump right into it. So Thermacell, really how it works is that we are a heat-activated repellent. And what happens is the heat transfers our repellent into vapor, and that vapor saturates the air around you and creates an invisible, scent-free zone of protection from mosquitoes, but really insects, biting insects in general, black flies, no-see-ums, things of that nature. We've been EPA tested and regulated for over 25 years, and we're rated at 96% effective. So just a really rock-solid and really amazing and life-changing product for how people are going to enjoy the outdoors while using our product. Sometimes I find it's a little bit easier to have people see it as opposed to hearing it. So I wanted to share a little video that we have just to kind of go over what the product is and how it works. So I'll play that for you guys.
Thermacell mosquito repellent provides effective, virtually odorless, invisible protection. It's proven, tested, and trusted by millions of consumers around the world. It creates a 15 by 15 foot mosquito protection zone where mosquitoes won't bug you or bite you, and yet it doesn't use DEET. And there are no oily, messy lotions, no odors, and no open flame. So how does it work? All that's required is a butane cartridge and these repellent mats. The mats feature a version of a naturally occurring insect repellent found in chrysanthemums. To keep mosquitoes away, just insert the butane cartridge, slide the mat into place, then turn on the Thermacell repeller. The heat generated by the butane cartridge is directed to a metal grill. The heat vaporizes the repellent, allowing it to rise into the air, creating a 15 by 15 foot zone of protection against mosquitoes, black flies, and other biting flying insects. It's that easy. And all Thermacell repellers, lanterns, and torches work the same way. It's EPA approved, and you can use Thermacell anywhere, from the backwoods to your backyard. It also comes with a 100% satisfaction money-back guarantee. Remember, refills work in all Thermacell products. So don't let mosquitoes drive you indoors. Thermacell gives you the freedom to enjoy your next great adventure, family getaway, or just a quiet, peaceful moment in your own backyard. Create a zone of protection wherever you go in the great outdoors with Thermacell.
Okay, so like I said, nice little kind of overview of the product. And if you have any questions, obviously, just like I said, feel free to hop right in. So what we consider to be the Thermacell difference really breaks out into the mosquito repellent category at large. You can see how we sort of have it broken out into area repellents where we find ourselves with things like citronella candles and tiki torches, and then the largest being that personal repellent, that topical sprays and solutions. Well, by and large, the whole category of itself has remained pretty well flat over the last, five or so years, growing at about a pace of 3%. What's been an incredible story for Thermacell is that we've been growing at a 9 times faster pace than the category, growing our, with a compound growth average of over or almost 27%. And that's due to a couple things, but people are really looking for better solutions out there to what we've been doing, which is more or less, sticking with things that we either know are ineffective or we know are known carcinogens like DEET and things like that are really tough on the environment and ourselves. And we are not afraid of letting people know that. We've been really putting the hammer down with our marketing spend and really with the huge focus being on social media, where our share of voice is just leaps and bounds above all of our competitors, even huge nationwide competitors like Off, Cutter, and things like that. Really just getting out there and letting people know that there are better solutions out there, and it's been working. And why that's exciting for your customers, not only are they introducing something that's a little bit more cutting edge and something that's going to be really new to the game, but also what it's doing is it's actually increasing the amount a shopper is spending at a retail outlet. If you look on average, an annual consumer spends about $8 on traditional mosquito repellent products. So that's topical sprays, citronella candles, things like that. Whereas the average Thermacell shopper is spending 3 times that amount at that storefront. So not only is your dealer now carrying the best and most exciting product, but it's actually encouraging their shoppers to spend more at their store. Another thing that's neat to note is that those same users who are buying Thermacell are still buying topical solutions for different outlets. So they're not replacing those dollars as much as it's incremental. They're adding to it. Now, looking over a brief study, this is a kind of that top-down funnel look where we look for people that are on deck. So what we did is in a case study or in a research study that we did, we found that there are about 37 million Americans in that treatment market that are aware of Thermacell, and 18 million of those are likely to buy it within the next year. And so when you do some quick math and you just look at the 18 million future users that are on deck aware of Thermacell and treat for mosquitoes, you're looking at a $425 million bubble that is ready to burst onto the scene, and that's going to drive incredible growth in the category. And so for your dealers that might be weary about bringing it in because it's at mass retail, or for your dealers that might be thinking to themselves, I don't really carry anything like this. The fact of the matter is that there's nobody else that's doing exactly what we do. So that hurdle of, you might not be doing, or they might not be carrying anything like this. This is something that's new. This is something that's innovative, but it's not something that hasn't been tested and proven on the market. With over 20 years on the market, we are just continuing to grow, and as people look for more natural solutions, you heard it in the video. Our natural our repellent is derived off of chrysanthemum flowers, so it's better for you. It's not something that is going to be a detriment to the store, and there's so much room for growth when it comes to Thermacell. And to that point, there's really nobody that's changing lives. I mean, it might be hard for us to come to grips with at times, but there's nothing really sexy or exciting about the mosquito repellent industry. This is something where we are, we are most effective when we're not being seen or heard or noticed. And it really takes somebody a second to take a step back and say, wow, this product really works and really works well. And that's what we've been doing. With over 70,000 reviews online, we're averaging a 4.8 star review, and that's even on new products that we're constantly innovating. And what's exciting about this is that we're getting people to take times out of their lives to go online and tell other people how excited and amazed they were by a mosquito repellent product. Just recently, we did a search to get our Net Promoter Score. What a Net Promoter Score is it takes out really the bottom 50%, really the bottom 70% of people that are either indifferent or not willing to promote your brand, and really sticks to that people that would answer 9 or 10 to how would you rate this product. And so when you look at our score at 80% NPS, what that says is that our brand has the type of power and recognition that brands like Starbucks and Apple do. We are up in that echelon of people that are raving about our product, ready to let people know. And when you compare that to other brands in our category, I mean, they're night and day. So the reason I bring this up is that if you yourselves are unfamiliar with Thermacell, or your customers are not, this is a brand that's tested, and it's a brand that's going to garnish a lot of recognition in their stores, and especially for a segment that's growing as fast as outdoor living for us. You're going to get a lot of people that just say, "Wow, I've heard of Thermacell for years. I've used it for years. I've never used it in this application," and that's something that we're fully expecting as our partnership with Arett grows. And then, like I alluded to, just our share of voice, they call it, or how much you can see us in the social media platform. We dwarf. We own 50% of the share of voice of the main players in the mosquito repellent category. And so what's great about that is that as customers are continually looking for better treatments for mosquitoes, we are consistently coming up. They're consistently being fed Thermacell Outdoors information. And then to go on top of that, when they dive deep and they do more research, they're seeing these 4.8 star reviews. And that's why we have such a strong history of garnishing new users. And so that's something that we're going to continue on for years. So diving into products, Arett is set up really in a strong way for success. You guys are carrying our new and innovating products. Our new and innovating products that are really, our best sellers as well. So you guys are set up for the long run. We also have a lot of ways that what we could do is provide POP for your storefronts, or for your dealer storefronts. And what that's going to do is that's going to really help to drive sales. And I'll actually get into that in a little bit with really how we look for you guys to push our product and sell into stores. So our portable line today is our largest product line. 60% of all units globally are sold from this with our strongest recognition. But we are reaching an exciting time where we have discontinued our MRGJ, our MR150 repeller, and moved on to our new MR300. So when you guys all should have received a handheld repeller and some tick tubes that I had sent out to a lot of your salespeople. And this is what you're looking at: just a redesign from the top up, and with a slimmer down hand grip, making it a little bit easier for operators to use, and also a quieter a quieter unit, but it also allows it to run more effectively while running vertical. And so the two options that we see for you for you at Arett that you guys are going to have are the high vis color, which overwhelmingly consumers paired up with as one as a way that they weren't going to lose their product, but two, they just really matched up with that tool safety, that all-purpose DIY outdoor working community. And then our standard outdoor adventure, our olive green unit. This is kind of our flagship product and as recognizable as our brand name to a lot of consumers. But one of the items that we are incredibly excited about are our patio shield repellers. These are our best-selling repeller line, bar none. The glacial blue is our #1 color for this year. but the three colors were all strong together. And then going into year 2, we're expecting to see an increased growth just from the awareness that our year 1 launch created. What was great about these is that it really opened the door and was our first ever launch into that outdoor living lifestyle community. We always had items that were geared for outdoor adventure enthusiasts, but for every one of those, there's 20 people that just want to go outside and not be bothered by bugs and mosquitoes. And that's really what this product latched onto. As an entry price point unit, it was easy for people to gravitate to and say, hey, I'm willing to give that a try. The Patio Shield mosquito repellent really helped to spell out exactly what it is that what it was that the consumer was buying into, and this really helped to burn and turn that new user acquisition. So you'll see a lot of this in terms of what we're offering through Arett. And these will be your number 1 sellers as well. So an important SKU to take note of. We also have a strong lighted series, things that are really kind of replacing those quintessential items that you're used to seeing on the porch: lanterns, torches, and this is, with lanterns and torches, things like that, these are items that people are already familiar with. And so adding them onto a predefined deck space is easy for the consumer to understand. And it, like I said, in terms of that new user acquisition, 80% of new users were buying these products last year, and that also includes the Patio Shield repellers. And this year, we're also seeing a design refresh to help unify the line and make the customer experience a little bit more consistent. And so you'll see the three different options there. So just as a question that we're getting as well. So just to kind of touch back on the basics of the product, all of our items work exactly the same way. So what you're doing is you're actually taking our butane refill cartridges, which are sort of the lifeblood of the product line. So your dealers are not only getting an initial sale from the unit, but a repeated sale as their users are coming back for more and more refills. But the heat is created when you insert our butane cartridges, like you saw in that video, into the bottom of the device. Like any gas-powered unit, you flip a switch to turn on the gas and then push an igniter button. When that igniter button comes or lights the gas, it heats up a metal grate, which in turn heats up our repellent mat. And you can think of it much the way that a humidifier works in your kid's bedroom. You put the menthol solution into a mat or into the liquid that you use in the humidifier. The vapor carries up the menthol, or in this case, the repellent, into the area and saturates the immediate area, and that's how you're getting that effectiveness. And all of these products will be in the 2019 catalog as well. So there'll be a lot of different information, and like I said, we'll be getting into POP and different ways of selling it, but all different ways of selling it, and that if there's any interest in you guys having the videos for use in POP, definitely something that we can take care of. We are a brand that might be new to some, but we are certainly not new to all. What we are looking at is Thermacell being in really almost every major player in some form in that DIY home center, lawn and garden outfit. You will see it at places like Lowe's and Home Depot, and some stretch. You will see it in True Value, Ace stores, but all in different variations. And we find that the assortment that you guys are being offered at Arett is truly the best mix of product for your customers. So if there's any questions as far as that, we can kind of dive in a little bit more. But you're going to see this product at every there's a lot of backup. There's a lot of people are going to be validated in their purchase by seeing it at a lot of these major retailers. One of the products that we really came into with into Arett in a big way was our tick control tubes, something that was fairly new for Thermacell. As we really start to get into this outdoor living segment. We are from the Northeast as well. We're based out of Bedford, Massachusetts, and so we know you guys are down in New Jersey headquartered, but all over New England, but also just the Northeast in general. Tick is such a huge problem in our area, and so we really were looking for an innovative way to do it. And you guys are familiar with tick control tubes from players like Damonex and things like that. But what we found is that we have just taken that idea and made it more accessible, more learning friendly to the general consumer. You could see the statistics of the top 15 affected states in terms of Lyme disease in that panel on the right, and you'll notice that pretty much a full gamut of them are areas serviced by you guys at Arett, which makes you guys a really key player in this segment. The way the tick tube works is actually pretty innovative in and of itself. What we're actually doing is we're using a tick's natural prey and natural habitat against them to help corral them and actually take them out. The way it works is you can see those tubes on the right side of the screen in those biodegradable tubes. They're actually stuffed with cotton that is soaked in a permethrin formula. The way it works is that in the key seasons for this product, so think about that first initial yard setup, cleanup, come April-ish time frame, and then again at the end of summer as we're getting as we're kind of winding down in that August-September time frame. Mice, rodents, chipmunks, squirrels, things of that nature are looking for ways of lining their den with things that are going to make them comfortable throughout the year, and so they're naturally attracted to grab things like this cotton and take it out of the tube and whip them back into their burrow. Well, those burrows are where the nymph ticks, and that's the first early life cycle ticks, live and survive during our winter months. They have to go underground in order to survive and have a meal all winter long. So the rodents are taking that cotton that's soaked in the permethrin back into their burrows with them. And think about the same way a flea collar works on a dog. That permethrin gets all over their fur, and now when the nymph ticks go to feed off of those rodents, they're dying. And so you are effectively ending the life cycle of a tick. Instead of trying to treat from the top down with commercial sprays and things of that nature, which are limited in effectiveness because of how quickly ticks mature, you're actually wiping them out from the bottom, and using that in conjunction with the spray is the most effective way to treat ticks in our area. Another little side note of why this is so exciting is that no tick is born with Lyme disease. They actually get Lyme disease from the rodents. And so not only are you drastically reducing up to 90% the amount of ticks in your area, but you are effectively reducing in general the amount of Lyme disease carrying ticks in your area going forward. So it's really the most effective way of controlling the tick population in an area. And it only requires 2 applications a year. Like I said, in that early spring when mice are kind of kicking out everything, or rodents are kind of kicking out everything from their dens, getting ready from the long winter, and then again when they're getting ready for winter and lining their den. If you do those 2 treatments a year, you're really going to be controlling the tick population. And really for a half-acre yard, you're looking at only $90 of investment per year. So $45 per application treating a half-acre. So really sharp. And in smaller, a little bit more, I don't want to say urban, but suburban climates where if maybe a quarter acres of treatment, they're going to get away with $45 a year. So just a really awesome, cost-efficient way of treating ticks in the area. And one of the things that's important to us is how environmentally friendly they are. They're not harmful to kids or pets. Permethrin in general can be bad news for smaller dogs or cats and things like that. But what is awesome about our product is that if your dog were to be getting into it, they might be upset, or let's say they were to eat the entire tube. They might get upset about having a belly full of cotton, but the permethrin is not going to cause them any undue wear and tear. And that's something that's special to our formulas. So something we're very excited about. Oh, and I'm sorry, I did miss a few questions. So just to go back to you, Blake, the butane in the handheld and patio shield repellents goes for 12 hours. And so you get 12 hours of runtime that you can turn on and off as frequently as you want. And then each of those blue mats that you saw go for 4 hours. And what's neat about them is they go from blue to white as they're spent. so that you'll get a visual cue as well that the mats are spent and ready to be thrown out. You can store the mats if you're only outside for an hour or two, but generally we find that being the average treatment hours that somebody's outside for. So 12 hours on the butane, 4 hours on the mats, and you're always buying them. You're always buying them in tandem. And you guys have the refills available out of the warehouse as well. So between mosquito and tick, I mean, we are really covering public enemy number 1 and 2, depending exactly where you're located, for just going outside and enjoying the outdoors. There's no more two deadly insects in the world than those two, and we are effectively letting you take back the outdoors from these pests without demanding a lot of forethought, without demanding a lot of constantly running propane solutions or insecticiding your entire yard and taking out every bumblebee, moth, you name it. We are a low impact on the environment option that is instant gratification. You decide at 5 o'clock or 4:55 you want to go outside and enjoy dinner on your patio. You turn on a Thermacell, by 5 o'clock you've turned on this zone and you're not having to worry about any of the treated insects. So something that's really game changing and really exciting from an innovation standpoint. How and when to sell. You guys should have received a startup package with a repeller and some tick tubes just to get you acquainted with the item. And if not, I can definitely make sure that you guys have received those. But the how and when to sell we find as being very important for our product. In terms of the how, we're not a commodity that's really milk and eggs. People tend to not be going out and necessarily looking for mosquito repellent until they realize that moment, they don't have it or they need it or they need to find some solution. And so we always recommend a display being introduced to your storefronts. 1, it helps to stop the consumer in their tracks. 2, it helps to bring the refills and the repeller into one condensed message. And that really helps to increase the size of the shopping cart for the consumer for Thermacell. In a case study we did between 2015 and 2016, you can see how drastically introducing a display increased sales, over 200% sales growth year over year, and that was in a highly developed sales base. So we sold those displays. We sold those displays at the spring show, or at the show back in September, and they did insanely well. I would say that about 95% of purchases at the show included the display. It was easy. The displays look great. They hold the right amount of product, and it was easy for dealers to see why they would be so successful. And so we are also doubling down, and these will be advertised in the April-May Super Savers for you guys. So we're continually putting down the pressure, allowing you guys to get out there, introduce this new product and offer at some savings. And so because of all that, you're really going to be able to see the success of this product take hold. And like I said, it was very easy for your dealers to see why these would be so effective. But with that 200% growth year over year in sales when a display was introduced, you can also see the sustained lift that carries on throughout the year. Now, I want to show you this in another graph, but so this is our weekly POS from 2016 through 2018. 2016 being that first year where you could see that incredible growth curve with our display program happening, but every year we've introduced it earlier and earlier, and because of that increased user acquisition, you are watching it not only going through the moon in terms of our POS height and how much larger our years are growing, but how earlier and earlier that season is creeping. And so if you introduce these displays early, you're going to watch your dealers sell out and be reordering over and over and over again. And you pair that with something like our tick tubes point of sales, you can see it's a very similar time frame, but really a little bit earlier. The earlier we can introduce those tick tube quarter pallet and sidekick displays, I'll be showing you in a little bit, people getting ramped up for their yard. I mean, for us in the Northeast, it could be the 1st of March, but usually it's mid-April that we're getting our last snow. But really, whenever that time frame hits you, we want to be prepared with tick tubes to get it into the consumer's hands and out the door. And so that's really the when we want to have these two products in stores and ready to rock and roll. It's really the beginning of that Q2 that we need to be capitalizing on. Here's some of the displays that we had offered at your show, and then some of the displays that we offer year round. This unit right here was the best seller for our, like I said, this is our patio shield repellers, the 3 awesome colors mixed with our best-selling refill display. That one had a very strong presence at the show, and there's going to be a lot of your dealers that are going to be getting that in come this time frame on orders they already replaced. So don't be surprised when you see that in the store. But it brings the 6 of each color repeller to the table, allows people to kind of see the color story, which is big in that, like I said, that outdoor living lifestyle, and bring the refills together. We also offer that similar display in our 9W Cambridge lantern. So if somebody has a little bit more classic feel, you can offer both. And then, you can just offer to the 2 different types of consumers that you'll see. Somebody that's looking for that classic lantern or that new age entry price point. That was the best-selling unit that you see on the left is something that we will see continuing on throughout the year as being the number 1 seller. And then in terms of smaller displays, really for that outdoor people that are working outdoors, that's where you'll see these handheld repellers. The green unit on the left, and then the smaller images of that high vis color. Also items that are going to be available in the warehouse. So, but those 2 units in general will be really catering to people that are working in the outdoors, whether they're whether they're sitting in their garden bucket, they're doing major landscaping projects, or they're just kind of outdoors on the lawnmower. Whatever the case may be, this is an item that is really built for a little bit more of the outdoor working. So you can see we cater to the outdoor living, the outdoor working. We're covering all of our bases. And then in terms of the other displays that you can see how our torches come in a nice shipper like that. That item in general is not a single purchase item. People tend to buy those in bulk, and that's just the nature of a torch. Nobody buys one torch and puts it in the middle of their yard. They surround the perimeter of their yard with those torches, and so that's the reason we merchandise like that, ready to go. Pick them up, and that's something that's familiar for especially things like tiki and things like that. You see them merchandised in a very similar way. And then our tick control products. The quarter pallet at the show in September was a huge success. It features 24 of our retail packages, really not overbearing for a store that's already familiar with them and helping them move. But in case they want to introduce it a little bit less product, you can see the sidekick on the left. Both of them, I feel, as being without a doubt the only way to merchandise this tick product. To just put it on the shelf really doesn't do it justice. You need some way to call out what it's doing, let people know that there's a solution to their tick problem where the overwhelming majority of the consumer population does not know there's anything they can do. Now you're stopping them dead in their tracks. You're letting them pick up the package, get educated from on all 4 panels of our package. There's education provided to them, and so they're going to be able to get educated, and at that point, there's an 80% close rate on consumers picking up that package. So that's really the long and skinny of it. And I know I didn't want to use up a ton of time for you guys today, so we did cover a lot of ground. But you guys have seen the product line. You've seen how successful we are, and we are going to continue to be. Really, the what the product is, the how to sell it, when to sell in. You've seen all the necessities of how Thermacell is going to be effective for you guys and for your customers. I've seen the excitement drummed up during that spring or that September show from your dealer base. I know it's out there. There's going to be a lot of low-hanging fruit for you guys this year. As you guys are carrying it, it's more accessible for these dealers. And it's really all about you guys going after and getting it. So you guys will have another opportunity in the April-May Super Saver to sell our items at a great price. I'll leave my contact information in the chat window, and that's pretty much it. So thanks for your time, guys, and hope to hear from you guys with any questions or concerns or anything we can do to help soon.